Happy Monday, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Toys, the Universe, and Everything. This week, we're playing Choplifter for the Atari 7800. So, does Choplifter give gamers the Airwolf experience? Or should we just watch the in-flight movie? Well, like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and let's play the helicopter action game that also teaches patience, taking turns, and counting. It's like Sesame Street with guns. Released in 1987 by Atari and programmed by Ibid? Whatever. Choplifter is a port of the Apple II game by Dan Gorlin, where you must rescue hostages and get them back to your base. Sega was responsible for the arcade port, but Ibid's port stays mostly in line with the home computer versions of the game. Once you get your chopper off of the ground, you'll be facing all of the military might of the bungling army. Bungling? Bungling? Whatever. Tanks, jet fighters, and drone air mines will all hinder your attempts at rescue. You will have forward-facing guns and bombs for ground targets. Watch your landing, or you will smash hostages with your chopper. Visually, Choplifter is a competent game for the 7800. There isn't anything standout bad here, but the mountains in the background do look as though they were copied and pasted out of Pole Position 2's Fuji track. Explosions are perfect ovals, and the ground is simply undetailed AstroTurf. The game skirts the line at times using graphics that could have been done on a 2600, like the territory markers, bullets, and explosions, and then par but uninspired 7800 graphics like the tanks, scoreboards, and enemy jets. Nothing is standout bad here, but also nothing is standout good either. The sound is good for the first 4 seconds. That is the 4 seconds it plays a bit of His Truth is Marching On. After that, it's just propeller blades and combat noises. I mean that. It is just the tank fire and hit noises from the Atari VCS combat game. Don't worry, when you drop off the hostages, you do get rewarded. The game also borrows the Atari 2600 Lois kissing Superman ding noise for the hostage drop-off chime. Just sit back and relax and imagine Lois giving Superman sweet, sweet 8-bit smooches. And I do mean sit back and relax, because the better you play, the longer you'll be sitting around waiting at base for the passengers to exit your chopper. This is like a Sesame Street lesson on taking turns. 1 passenger at a time. Ding. 1 passenger. 2 passengers. Choplifter is really a counting game disguised as a chopper action game. White knuckle action aficionados will be turned off in the downtime to be sure, as it really tests your patience. The action portion of the game is frustrating to say the least. It almost seems that this was meant as a 2600 game that got shoveled onto the 7800 at some point because you were limited to 1 on-screen projectile at a time. Not a big deal, I suppose, but considering how fast enemy planes appear on screen and the unfair amount of time you have to react to their appearance, it can be a problem if you're dealing with tanks or waiting for hostages to board. You can be completely helpless when a jet shows up. You'll also likely fly into air mines because the speed the screen moves and the fact that you are always in the middle of the screen. You simply don't have adequate reaction time during most of this game. Like the heroes from Crossbow, the hostages in Choplifter are so stupid. I wonder why I should bother rescuing them anyway. The leading hostage will always position himself under your chopper, meaning you'll be playing freeze tag with him instead of landing to avoid smashing him, all the while hoping a jet doesn't fly in because you probably won't have time to dodge while parked waiting for hostages who clearly don't understand the danger they're in. So, do you need Choplifter in your Atari 7800 collection? If you're expecting something like Sega's arcade version of Choplifter, you will be disappointed. That is a version of the game with Sega's usual spit polish. You're more empowered, the enemy fire moves more slowly, the levels advance. If you're coming in with a memory of Apple or Commodore's versions, you'll probably find an enjoyable experience here. Choplifter is a flawed but playable experience. The game is a bit deceiving because by 1987, most games that look like this were giving gamers a deeper experience. But Choplifter remains a throwback to 1982, where in 5 minutes you've seen all the game has to offer, and that is with 3 of those 5 minutes unloading hostages. Look, this game is cheap, so if you're wanting to put in another title in your stack, Choplifter isn't bad. It isn't going to knock Centipede, Joust, Froggy, Baby Pac-Man, or Ricky and Vicky out of your rotation, but there is some fun to be had here. Unbalanced, seemingly unplay-tested, but Choplifter is an interesting middle-of-the-road 7800 experience. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and no matter what your questions are about toys, the universe, and everything, remember, the answer is always to have fun. And if you are ever kidnapped by the bungling army and being picked up by a rescue chopper that is beset by enemy fire on all sides, maybe let the guy land instead of running to the chopper forehead first like the stormtrooper who forgot to duck. Until next time, everybody.